begin our October meeting. Call our meeting to order. I'd like to ask Mr. Matthew Peter to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good job, rookie. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
This, here, Owen, here, Burke, Hal, here, Jackson, here, Clay, here, Bishop, here, Mouse, here, Huntington, Dawson, here, Mullin, here, Grigg, here, he's here, here, Hine, here, here, Hogan, here, Henry Joyce,
Here.
Second Joyce, here, Second Katniss, Lockhart, Mario, here, Mayo, McKnight, McLean Lane, Benedict, Miller, O'Brien,
Here.
Peter, here, Klotsky, Reinhardt, Simpson,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Stevens, Shea, Cunningham, Ford.
Here.
Make note of additional sponsors here with the clerk. First item under current business, please.
Adopting the amendment to the 2015-2019 Albany County Airport Authority.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 410 passes. For 411, please.
Moving 2024 Albany County Airport Authority capital improvement.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 411 passes. For 412, please.
Authorizing the banks of the easement to Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation for replacement and upgrade electrical service to runway approach lighting.
All those in favor? Mr. Joyce?
Please note my extension.
You got it.
Mr. Stevens? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 412 passes with 2 abstentions. For 413, please.
Authorizing agreements regarding moving and storage services for eligible temporary assistance facilities.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 413 passes. For 414, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Equinox Inc. regarding residential domestic violence.
All those in favor? Opposed? 414 passes.
Andrew, please note my abstention.
414 passes with 1 abstention. For 415, please.
Authorizing an agreement with the Benton County Department of Social Services regarding non-secure detention services.
All those in favor? Opposed? 415 passes. For 416, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Berkshire Farm Settlement Services for youth regarding non-secure detention.
All those in favor? Opposed? 416 passes. For 417, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Berkshire Farm Center and Services for youth regarding agreement and specialty prevention services with a focus on future.
All those in favor? Opposed? 417 passes. 418, please.
Authorizing an agreement with St. Anne's Institute regarding the provision of specialty prevention services for the sex abuse prevention program.
All those in favor? Opposed? 418 passes. 419, please.
Authorizing an agreement with St. Anne's Institute regarding the juvenile sex offender program.
All those in favor? Opposed? 419 passes. 420, please.
Authorizing an agreement with St. Catherine's Center for Children regarding parent care program.
All those in favor? Opposed? 420 passes. 421, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Community Attorney Services regarding specialty prevention services.
All those in favor? Opposed? 421 passes. 422, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Parsons Child Family Center regarding the provision of closure prevention services for community and recreational support.
All those in favor? Opposed? 422 passes. 423, please.
Authorizing an agreement with community centers regarding the provision of closure prevention services for community and recreation support.
All those in favor? Opposed? 423 passes. 424, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Trinity Alliance, Capital Region Inc. regarding the provision of clinical prevention services with community and recreational supports.
All those in favor? Opposed? passes. Number 425, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Community Maternity Services regarding the provision of medical prevention services for community and recreational supports.
All those in favor? Opposed? 425 passes. Number 426, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Catherine Center for Children regarding medical prevention services for community and recreation sports for Knox West Connections.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 426 passes. 427, please.
Authorizing an agreement with South School regarding the provision of juvenile justice prevention services.
All those in favor? Opposed? 427 passes. Number 428, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Berkshire Farm Center and Services for Youth regarding the provision of juvenile justice prevention services for home run program.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 428 passes. Number 429, please.
Authorizing an agreement with Cornell Cooperative Extension regarding the provision of juvenile justice prevention services.
All those in favor? Opposed? 429 passes. 430, please.
Authorizing an agreement with the New York State Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services implementing 2019 Department of Health.
All those in favor? Opposed? 430 passes. 431, please.
Authorizing agreements with Generator regarding the on-site pharmacy services at least a space located at 175 Queen Street.
All those in favor? Opposed? 431 passes. Number 432, please.
Authorizing the submission of grant application to New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services regarding 2019 Emergency Management and Performance Grant.
Please denote my abstention. All those in favor? Opposed? 432 passes. Number 433, please.
Authorizing an intermunicipal agreement regarding the Borough Justice Assistance Grant Program.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 433 passes. Number 434, please.
Rescinding the authorization to convey real property pursuant to Resolution 260 of 2017, authorizing the conveyance of 47 Maple Ridge Avenue in the City of Albany.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 434 passes. Number 435, please.
Authorizing the conveyance of parcel of real property known as Van Reese Point Road, town of Bethlehem.
All those in favor? Opposed? 435 passes. Number 436, please.
Amending 2019 District Attorney's Office budget.
All those in favor? Opposed? 436 passes. Number 437, please.
Amending 2019 Sheriff's Office budget.
All those in favor? Opposed? 437 passes. Number 438, please.
Amending the Sheriff's Office budget, staff positions.
All those in favor? Opposed? 438 passes. Number 439, please.
Amending 2019 Department of Social Services budget.
All those in favor? Opposed? 439 passes. Number 440, please.
Amending 2019 Department of Public Works budget.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 440 passes. 441, please.
Amending 2019 Watershed District budget.
All those in favor? Opposed? 441 passes. 442, please.
Designating the Albany County Convention and Visitor Bureau as Albany County's tourist promotion agency to receive tourism, advertising, and promotion grant.
Mr. Peter?
Mr. Chairman, no my abstention, please.
All those in favor? Opposed? 442 passes with one abstention. Number 443, please.
Authorizing the conveyance of real property located at 133 Lark Street.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 443 passes. Number 444, please.
Rescinding the authorization to County 164 Orange Street. Total Resolution 399 for 2019 and authorizing the conveyance of 164 Orange Street in the City of Albany.
All those in favor? Opposed? 444 passes. 445, please.
Authorizing the refund of real property taxes in the City of Albany.
All those in favor? Opposed? 445 passes. Number 446, please.
Affirming the appointment of a member to the Albany County Airport Authority.
All those in favor? Opposed? 446 passes. Number 447, please.
Designating the Audit and Finance Committee to review the tentative and approved budget for 2020.
All those in favor? Opposed? Number 447 passes. Number 448, please.
Public hearing on 2020 tentative annual budget.
All those in favor? Opposed? 448 passes. 449, please.
Public hearing on proposed legislative additions and or deletions to the 2010.
All All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 449 passes. 450, please.
Public hearing on proposed local law F for 2019, local law of the County of Albany, New York, to require Albany County restaurants and eating establishments to provide straws and plastic cutlery only upon request.
Please send that to the Conservation, Sustainability, and Green Initiatives Committee, please. And Law as well. Local Law C for 2019.
A local law. The County of Albany, New York, amending and updating local law 2 for 2011, requiring item pricing to retail stores in the County of Albany.
All those in favor? Aye. Oh, pardon me. This is a long roll call. Long roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
no
Kamau.
extension.
See? Beston.
Favor.
Bullock.
Yes.
Burgdorf. Cal. Chapman. Blake. Peterson.
Yes.
Robbins. Yes. Dawson. Mullins.
Abstain.
Drake.
Yes.
Ethier. Feeney.
Yes.
Greer.
Here.
Britt.
Yes.
Hogan.
Yes.
Andrew Jones. Raymond.
Yes.
Yep. Mack.
Yes.
Lockhart.
Yes.
Moriello.
Yes.
Mack Knight. Excuse me. McLean Lane. Mendon.
Yes.
Philip. Bryant.
Yes.
Greer.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Franklin. Simpson.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Stevens.
Yes.
Shea.
Yes.
36. One abstention.
Local Law C passes 36 with one abstention. Mr. Morielli.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I stand this evening to ask this honorable body to pass a Rule 11. This evening, the resolution number 451, which we all have on everyone's desk. And this is for honoring the American Italian Heritage Association's 40 years of historical, cultural preservation, and societal contributions.
All those in favor of Rule 11? Opposed? Rule 11 passes.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to speak on this real briefly. One of the things, I guess, that made this country great was that we all came from people, and y'all came from, I'm sorry, let me start over. One of the reasons why this country has been as successful and as great as it is because there have been a number of people that have come here from different cultures, different societies. They brought their work ethic with them. They brought their culture with them. And because of that, we've been able to blend a number of different cultures and form what's considered the greatest country that the world has ever seen. This evening and this month, really, we're honoring the Italian culture. It is October is Italian-American Cultural Month. And we want to really honor the association, the Italian-American Association, for all they've done. I'd like to recognize Professor DeNovo, who spoke earlier this evening. He really worked very hard to build this organization to what it is today. We're looking forward to the dinner they have planned and the celebration that's planned for October 22nd. So as it says here on the resolution, the Albany County Legislature takes pause in its deliberations to recognize the significant impact and contribution of the American Italian Heritage Association and its members, officers, and volunteers, and they further resolve that since October is Italian American Heritage Month, this honorable body hereby designates October 27th as American Italian Heritage Association Day in Albany County. Thank you.
Kind of did the clerk's job for him already. We're going to ask the clerk to read resolution number 451, and we will vote.
Honoring the American Italian Heritage Association for 40 years of historical and cultural preservation and societal contributions.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution number 451, honoring Italian American Heritage Association, passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Are we all sponsored the legislature?
Does anyone not want to go on resolution number 451? No? It's just we are all on it. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Second, all those in favor? Aye. Go to bed, Colton Willow.